Hey, I'm Olivia with Dragon Image, and we're here at Red Apple Camera Rentals, where I'm going to show you guys 5 basic steps on how to shoot great corporate videos. Let's go inside. So what I'll be doing today is basically coming into Red Apple so we can assess the workspace. Now, if Red Apple were a client of mine, I'm going to show you guys exactly how I would go about setting up a corporate video here. So first, let's talk about composition. Given this space and the nature of the video, what I want to do is just sort of assess what this workspace looks like. And given, again, the context of the video, what I want to do is really showcase the creative space here at Red Apple. So what I'm going to do is set up my interview so we can see the depth, we can see how they're working and what kind of space exists here. And I'm going to use things that I already have available, like this moving target board. We're going to go ahead and set this up next to our subject so we create some lines, and then we're going to use this nicely lit background to give our end result some depth. So now let's go into lighting and show you guys how to utilize the lighting that's already here, and then introduce some of our lights to make this look its best. Now, the second aspect of this corporate video we're going to talk about is the lighting. Now, again, like I said, because there's some really great lighting in the background, we're actually not going to need to backlight this setup shot that I have. So the lights that I'm using today, these are the FNV K4000s. I have the 3-head kit. There's a few reasons why I picked this kit. A, it's lightweight, it's portable. I have everything that I need carried in this bag here. They can be run on either AC power or on battery. And these particular LED lights, they're dimmable and they're bi-colored. And they have this really great offset design, so you're not gonna get those multi-shadows that you might get with some other LED lights. And these have a great CRI. So this is my choice. Now, I'm going to set up my subject here, and what I like about the lights that I have in the background is that because I'm going to have a nice shallow depth of field, the lights in the back are going to create a beautiful bokeh. I can just introduce my key light, I'm going to set up a hair light, and we're going to show you guys how to do that right now. So again, what our focus is our subject, and what we want to do is shape the light around the subject. All right, now that we've talked about the lights that we're gonna be using, let's talk about why we're putting them in the spaces that we are, and how we're gonna perfectly light Anil here. Now, not only are we using this calibration shot in our composition because of this leading line, we're also using this calibration chart because it's gonna act as negative fill. So Anil will be nice and dark here, creating a little bit more of a contrast on his cheek, but our hair light is going to not only highlight, it'll separate him from the background. So using our shallow depth of field, we're going to use all that back to our advantage, because now we're gonna make Anil really pop out. So let's turn on that hair light and see what that looks like. So now you can see here on Anil's chin and really on his shirt, now all of a sudden he's separated from the background. All we have to do now is turn on our key light, light Anil from the front, and there's our final shot. Now, talk about real world situations. Now that we lit our scene and we had our composition exactly the way we wanted it, we really noticed that even though we were staging it, so we brought in a Red Apple banner in to get some signage, we blocked the beautiful bokeh that we wanted to create, again, to use that fall off. So that sign now is not where we want it. So we're gonna go ahead and move the sign to really make this final end shot the best it can be. We're gonna show you what that looks like. All right, now that we have everything moved to exactly the way we want it, you can see that Anil is in 1/3 of the frame. We have our signage, and we also have that great bokeh in the background. Let's take a look at what that looks like.
I'm a camera prep technician here, so what I do is make sure that all the gear is in perfect shape for when it goes out.
So for our third tip, we're gonna cover audio. Of course, we need audio in this corporate video, so I'm introducing my Sennheiser G3s. This is a wireless lavalier setup. We're using a lavalier microphone because it's going to get our signal to noise ratio really nice. In interview situations, lavaliers are typically used because that microphone is gonna be right up by our sound source, or Anil. Again, this is just gonna be wireless, so our receiver power is plugged straight into the Juice Link. We're using the Sennheiser G3s. This is the EW112, and the Juice Link is a preamp that is going to give us quality audio. We could plug these straight into the D800, but the Juice Link is going to up the ante on our audio quality, and that's really what we want. So in this situation, because we're going straight into the camera, we don't have to have that post-production audio video sync up. This is all gonna be as seamless as possible. All right, so let's go over the camera settings. Now we're just gonna go over some basics: our f-stop, our shutter speed, our frame rate, our ISO, our white balance, and in this situation, our picture profile. Now we have our aperture dialed in because, again, we want to get that nice shallow depth of field, so I'm at an f2.5. We want to keep our frame rate at 25, so that means we're just going to go ahead and double the shutter speed, so that's going to be at 1/50th. That's just a rule of thumb. Our ISO is going to be at 400, and we dialed in our white balance according to our lights. So the lights are at 5500. We dialed in the white balance just about at 5500, but we really used our eye to look at, does the white balance make sense? Is it going to give us exactly what our eye is seeing? Now, as far as our picture profile, I'm just going to show you really fast on this D800, and most cameras have a picture profile. You can shoot flat and then really bump this up in post. Again, for a corporate video, I want to keep things as simple as possible. So we're just going to go ahead and choose standard as our picture profile. And again, use your eye to look at it. If your blacks seem a bit crushed, then you can actually go in and start to dial things in. You can sharpen, you can reduce the contrast. We actually had to do that. So we dialed in our contrast back just a bit, and then our picture looked great. So then we were able to just go ahead and shoot straight from there. So finally, what I need to do is capture some B-roll and cutaways to really make this video dynamic. So I'm gonna get some panning shots, and I'm also gonna introduce a slider. So while Anil's talking, I'll be able to cut in some accommodating footage. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now.
I'm a camera prep technician here, so what I do is make sure that all the gear is in perfect shape for when it goes out, when it gets rented out. I also put together the gear for any gear checks that come through. Gear checks meaning people who put a list together for the gear that needs to be rented out. So I'll make sure that it's configured properly and it goes out in the right form and configuration, essentially. We're basically a boutique rental house, and we try and keep it upmarket. The relationships that we try to form here at Red Apple with our clients it's what we try to highlight. We try and have great relationships with everyone and make sure that everyone's happy. I would say apart from the customer service, it's also the type of gear and the way it's kept. The boss here likes to keep everything really proper and clean, and we take great pride in the amount of detail we put in. Red, that's one big thing, so we try and keep it branded, on brand that is. So a lot of Red Apple branding across the board, so we try and keep all the gear kitted out with its right accessories, and also we try and keep all the gear high end. Our website is www.redapplecamerarentals.com.
Now, I know that shooting corporate videos can seem pretty daunting, but as you can see, within 5 basic steps, you can actually get your corporate video looking and sounding really great. Now, to check out all the gear that you saw today, you can go to dragonimage.com.au.